Hi, this is Marvelous Mark here from the Off the Rope Show with your first of four reviews for the NCAA tournament brackets. I'm gonna start with the South bracket on this one. Then I'm gonna also do the West and the Midwest and the East also, and I'm just gonna go through it and tell you what my predictions are for each matchup and who I believe is going to go into the Final Four and playing in New Orleans for the right to play for the national championship. Okay, first we're gonna start with the second round matchups, and this starts with the number one seed in the South, Kentucky. They're going to be playing the winner of Mississippi Valley State and Western Kentucky, and pretty much the only thing you need to know about this matchup is that number one seeds since 1985 when they started doing the seeding process, they are 108-0. I mean, we're not talking about Goldberg's undefeated streak back in 1998. This is big because that means the number one seed is never won a first round game, and don't expect it to happen here because you got your player of the year candidate Anthony Davis, you got Michael Kidd Gilchrist, you got Marcus Teague, and they just have too much for whoever they'll play in the first round. Okay, then the next matchup is going to be Iowa State against UConn. This is the 8-9 game. Fred Hoiberg did an excellent job with this team this year, molding a bunch of transfers into a cohesive unit. You got Royce White, who he's pretty much the big leader of this team. I mean, he leads in about every category you can think of. Then you got Scott Christopherson shooting the three ball from the outside, and I really think they're going to beat UConn in this game. I know UConn's had their ups and downs this year. Jim Calhoun missed a few games because he had spinal stenosis. But I don't think UConn should have even been in this tournament, or even they're the 9th seed in this bracket. But I don't know how they got in this tournament. To be honest with you. I mean, when you're 8-10 in your conference and you get into the NCAA tournament, I think if you don't go 500 in your own tournament, you shouldn't get in. That's just my opinion. I think Iowa State will advance. And now you have everybody's favorite matchup, the 5-12 game. In this bracket, it's Wichita State against the Final Four participant from last year, Virginia Commonwealth. I think Wichita State will win this game. Garrett Stutz on the inside, he's a force on the inside, and Virginia Commonwealth, they don't have the 3-point shooting that they did last year, and that's with all apologies to the Schleg Daddy and F.I. Ashley. I'm sorry, you're not going to the Final Four this year, baby. Wichita State will win this game, I believe. Okay, then you have the 4-13 matchup between Indiana, who's back in the tournament for the first time since 2008, against New Mexico State. Tom Crean has really brought Indiana back into prominence, and I believe that Indiana will win this game due to Cody Zeller playing on the inside and Christian Watford shooting from the outside. I think that'll be enough to win this game, even though they lost Verdell Jones to an ACL injury in the Big Ten tournament. But I think Indiana will advance in this game. Okay, next you have your 6-11 matchup between UNLV and Pac-12 tournament champion Colorado. I believe that UNLV will win this game because of Mike Mosier. He was a transfer from UCLA. He leads the team in scoring and rebounding, and although Colorado's a nice story, they got through the Pac-12 tournament. They beat Arizona in the final of that tournament, but let's face it, if they don't win that game, they don't get in the tournament. I think UNLV will win this game. Okay, the next matchup is the 3-seed Baylor going against the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State, which is making their first appearance in the tournament. They're the 14th seed. I think that Baylor is going to be Baylor at times hasn't played up to their athletic ability, but I think they have too much athleticism for South Dakota State, and I think they'll win this game. Pierre Jackson hitting from the outside, and Perry Jones III, who could be a lottery pick if he declares for the draft this year, I will be big in this game. I think Baylor will win this game. Okay, next you have the 7-10 matchup between Notre Dame and Xavier. Xavier at one time was ranked 9th in the country, but ever since that brawl in the game against Cincinnati earlier in the season, they've only gone 11-11. But they did write themselves an A-10 tournament in which they won. I think Notre Dame will win this game. They were the only team to beat Syracuse in the regular season, and I think it'll be a close game. But I think Notre Dame will prevail in this one. Now you have your 2-15 matchup, and this is between Duke and Lehigh. Duke should win this game easily, but then again, I honestly think, and this is coming from a Duke fan, I think they've been overrated all season. But that being said, I think that they should win this game pretty easily. You got Austin Rivers, Seth Curry, and Andre Dawkins shooting threes from the outside, and then you got the Plumlee brothers, Miles and Mason, on the inside. I don't see how they lose this game. Okay, now for the round of 32 matchups, which is it's the third round now instead of the second. But first matchup will be Kentucky against Iowa State. As much as I would love to pick Iowa State in this matchup, I can't do it because I think Kentucky's just going to be too strong for them. I think they'll figure out a way to stop Royce White, and Christopherson won't get as many three-point balls off. But I think Kentucky will win this game. But that being said, Iowa State has proved they can play with anybody, so I still think it will be a pretty close game, but I think Kentucky will win. Okay, the next matchup will be number 5 Wichita State against number 4 Indiana. This is where I think there's going to be an upset here. I don't really think it'll be an upset. I think Wichita State will win this game because I don't know if Indiana will have an answer for Garrett Stutz, but I mean it really could go either way. But I think Wichita State will win that game. And then you have it'll be UNLV, the number 6 seed against number 3 Baylor. Baylor will win this game because they're too athletic for UNLV, I believe. And that's about all I can say about that one. I think Baylor advances, and they won't go to the Sweet 16. And then you have Notre Dame against Duke. It's kind of like the student against the teacher. Mike Brey for Notre Dame against Coach Mike Krzyzewski of Duke. You know, I almost thought about picking Notre Dame in this game just because, like I said earlier, I think Duke has been overrated all year. And I think they've had too many close games at home even. I mean, they even lost to Miami at home, who didn't make the tournament, and they lost to Florida State at home. And they got rocked by North Carolina in the regular season finale. But somehow I think Duke will end up winning this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame pulled it out either. And now for the first Sweet 16 matchup, which will be Kentucky against Wichita State. Kentucky will win this game. I don't think it'll be really that close because Anthony Davis has been dominant all year, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, he's been good all year as well. And I just think Kentucky will be too much for them. And then you got the other Sweet 16 matchup between Duke and Baylor. I think Baylor will win this game. They will play to the level of their athleticism and like how good they really are. But I think Duke's luck will run out in the Sweet 16, and I think Baylor will advance to play Kentucky in the Elite Eight. And then you have the Elite Eight matchup between Kentucky and Baylor for the right to go to New Orleans in the Final Four. Kentucky will win this game because of Anthony Davis and Terrence Jones on the inside, and then Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Marcus Teague shooting threes. And although I do think it will be a good matchup, I think Kentucky will prevail. And this is the end of my South bracket. Tune in next time when I cover the West bracket. This is Marvelous Mark from the Off the Rope Show. If you like what you've heard, subscribe up above and leave me comments down below. If you agree with my picks, or if you think I'm out of my mind or whatever, just let me know. And since 2010, we've been entertaining ourselves while you watch us. Good night, everybody.